you have to have some type of vision or program for me to even be able to fit in or follow.
Once the coaching has proved to bear fruit, there shouldn't be a consistent habitual line step or question. It's okay to respect the title. Players gonna up sometimes. And and I think sometimes what we do is we tend to judge broadly uh, someone over their latest misstep, as opposed to being able to see the track record that they have behind them that has built them up to the place to where you already respect them.
We're talking marriage, family. This could be a matter of us losing somewhere to live. This could be a matter of a business still going really awry. This could be now we're short for something. So I understand what you're saying. Like there's small missteps and things like that. But a lot of times it sounds like it was either a bunch of small things over time that prove that your track record is actually trash, or it was major things that were highly effective. And then it is difficult to ask someone to be supportive when the support kind of feels counterproductive to the way you just effed over our
Mhm.
family. I was gonna
But
say
with
because
all the
some of
women
these
on
things
here,
sound
I would
like
be okay
basic
with that.
adult things that we
Oh.
need to be able to do, like kind of how
Yeah.
y'all said the man needs to be this man before he shows up. I think that's also where I say the mismatch comes in. People aren't coming as whole as they can before they get into
But
these relationships, for
but
sure.
it, is it is it not a part of relationships to grow with one another
Yes.
and to compromise with one another? You're coming as two different people, right? And you're going to be coming to compromise with one another in order to build something better than what you have by yourself. So wouldn't you need to be growing together, and you wouldn't be coming complete? Because if I'm complete, then what I,
Well, that's why I said as complete as you can. Is
okay,
I worded it very specifically,
okay, my fault.
because even for example for myself, I know that when this is presented to me, it may be a little bit of a tussle at first. I know me enough to know I'm going to be the one that's going to be like watching and questioning, but I'm also the person where I couldn't answer the question about the relationship because in the short period of time I've been dating, but I've never been in an actual like this is someone that I accept as the man or the leader or whatever that may look like in that dynamic. Because I personally just have never met anything that matched me. But I also had to realize there's a lot more of me that I need to also figure out too. Because the compromise shouldn't be some big things. It should be, okay, let's not leave the dishes on top of the counter because I like them put away. Like it shouldn't be these major, huge, big things. And I think that's where a lot of people get into these dynamics and it ends up being these huge things because they really were not matched in the first place, for example. Like, for example,
Mhm.
I don't mind cooking because I love cooking, but it's like, I don't want to always cook either. So these are things that if you didn't know that about me, you just assume, oh, she likes to cook all the time. You looking for a meal every night, and then I'm not cooking one night. It should be like lighthearted things, not these
Mhm.
heavy, big things that I feel like a lot of relationships end up tearing apart over.
Absolutely. I also think too, like some people don't put in the work to understand and develop a true identity for themselves, and they wait to get into a relationship to discover what they're looking for. And in my opinion, it's like, you should know what you're looking for. You should know who you are, where your boundaries are, where your standards are. And then obviously you find somebody that, complements that so that you have a solid foundation. But a lot of people go into relationships not really knowing what they're looking for and they kind of like want to go with the flow. And then that's where you run into a lot of these fundamental differences. And it's like, yeah, you're not compatible. Now you're trying to force the puzzle piece to fit and it's just not fitting.
Mhm. I was gonna say to what Freshmaker said. I think it's you guys are really small on my screen. But I think that is like that's I think that's the problem a lot of times that people they don't have that understanding that I had there's a whole nother personality here in this house. I gotta see how what I do and what I say comes off and vice versa. I have a friend who her and her husband, what they do every day, they come in the house, they say, what's your percentage? I think that's great because it automatically, as soon as you come in, it don't matter what's going on, how your day is. this is what we discussed. My percentage is this. All right, cool. Now I know where you are. I know I need to give you a little bit more time to get yourself together. And it has worked for them. But I think a lot of times people get defensive. If you come in the house and you're quiet, it's like, what's wrong with you? You have, and then that's immediately how people usually respond. What's wrong with you? Or if you take a little bit of time to get yourself together, your thoughts, it's like, then you must be mad at them. I think that we just need to have those conversations in the beginning.
What is a leader to you guys?
Somebody that
Ladies, I mean.
is self-aware, that can relationship build.
Ladies, I mean.
Oh, I'm
Ladies,
sorry.
ladies.
Um,
My bad.
I mean, I said it before when I said what I would be looking for in a spouse. Somebody, to me, a good leader is somebody who is God-fearing. And, if you are God-fearing, there's something in Islam for every aspect of what a leader does. Being a provider, taking care of his health, taking care of his social emotional skills, being a good communicator, being patient. And again, when you fear God and you know that everything that you do, you're going to be held accountable for, you move differently, you operate differently. Somebody who's in tune with that, to me, that's a good leader.
A leader to me kind of looks like the person my dad was to me. Whenever I had a problem or if I felt like there was something I couldn't handle, I would go to him because I felt like he always had the right answers. Maybe he didn't have all the right answers, but I felt he did. I always felt safe in my father's presence. I never felt like he was going to lead me astray. So, if I can find someone who can embody that energy, that's a leader to me.
I
But
would
also, my
I
dad
feel
knew
say
where he was
so.
going.
I feel like a leader is more like a
Mm,
conductor, but the conductor is nothing without the orchestra itself. And they remember that and respect that. And I think that's kind of like, it's like you're supposed to make sure it's kind of going all together in the flow of things, kind of checking in to oversee the, hey, the thing that is delegated to you, you're doing it and do what you're supposed to also do at the same time.
so I
So,
just asked that because. Oh, you didn't give your
Hold on.
definition. Sorry. Go ahead.
Paris ain't get to go yet.
great. So I would say a good leader for me is, for one, have a program for me to fit in. And what that means is already have that vision, um, of where you're trying to go, what we're trying to do. Like, you have to have some type of vision or program for me to even be able to fit in or follow. A leader also for me is someone that's able to communicate, very well, so, and a problem solver as well, and a good decision maker. Like, I need to know that, when we come against any problems or obstacles, that you have a level-headed mind and you're good with making, right decisions, even though every decision may not be the right decision, but you're 9 out of 10 making good decisions. And someone that's patient. You got to understand that I'm a blondie and a princess, so you got to take your time with me. But yeah, so a leader is just a balance of all of those things for me.
I feel like a leader sets the direction, right? Should. I feel like a leader should set the direction of where everything should go first and foremost. I feel like a leader should, when he's making the direction, take responsibility for the decisions of that direction that he decides to give, right? Whether good, wrong, or right, indifferent. I feel like a leader protects the well-being of the relationship, the family, the home, the everything. I feel like a leader listens. I feel like he accepts accountability. I feel like a leader should be willing to make sacrifices for everybody that he's leading in the household. So, but my main thing is, I feel like the leader should set the direction. Once the direction is set, I should fall in line. When I was a soldier, when the drill sergeant got in front of the formation, and he, sorry, y'all know I'm military, but when he said what he said, guess what? This was it. You know what I mean? We knew he was the leader, and not because of his rank, but because how he led it. You know what I mean? So we knew, Like certain drill sergeants we couldn't play with, right? Where others we'd be like, we won't get in trouble with him because he's soft, so we would take him for granted. But certain leaders, like kind of like what Mont kind of said, he set his tone from the very beginning. I don't think I've yet to have someone set the tone of what this is about to be. It was more so like, you my woman, I'm the man, we here. And so I like direction. So I feel like
I, I'm still interested in hearing what Freshmaker said, but before we move to that point, I wanted to ask, what do you think that would look like if a man executed it? If he said, "Oh yeah, she's soft, so I'm going to do this," or "She's soft, I know I can get away with that." I think it would be categorized as some sort of abuse. And
Manipulation,
right,
which
go ahead,
sows
Freshman.
dissent, which is counterproductive. So, like, we're kind of telling on ourselves here. I feel like there's a little bit of Santa Claus, Teddy Bear, and G.I. Joe combined in this descriptor, and it isn't sunshine and rainbows. There is some validity to some of the things that have been said, but to Mont's credit, it is kind of a short end of the stick thing when you compare it to what you see everybody else get from your leadership. But when you take pride in what it is that you do and the fruit that comes from it, it won't seem like so much a short end of the stick as far as being a leader. But it is you're going to be strategic. You're going to be self-aware. You're going to be able to build relationships well, and you're going to be empowering. Keisha did also mention be able to sacrifice, and that actually is something you could take pride in itself. But to the empowerment tip, if your leader, like Mont was talking about earlier, is able to coach you, then we won't necessarily have these ideas to where there is a question to the leadership. We're just going along with it because the coaching has proved to bear fruit. Once the coaching has proved to bear fruit, there shouldn't be a consistent habitual line step or question. It's okay to respect the title. Players gonna fuck up sometimes. And I think sometimes what we do is we tend to judge broadly someone over their latest misstep, as opposed to being able to see the track record that they have behind them that has built them up to the place to where you already respect them. And I think when we do that, we definitely fall short of the potential that we could have. There's nothing, well, I ain't gonna say there's nothing, but it is pretty gratifying if you do slip up, that even in the midst of that, somebody else still has respect enough to come to you and say, it's all good. I know you better than that. Or I'm not even worried about it because I know you could handle it. Or I got you. I believe in you, whatever. But it does become the short end of the stick if you do fuck up and people start to immediately doubt you. What am I with you for if there can't be support in the midst of me having a storm?
I think that sounds easier said than done because I think it also depends on the offense. Because we're talking marriage, family, this could be a matter of us losing somewhere to live. This could be a matter of a business deal going really awry. This could be now we're short for something. So I understand what you're saying. Like there's small missteps and things like that. But a lot of times it sounds like it was either a bunch of small things over time that prove that your track record is actually trash, or it was major things that were highly effective. And then it is difficult to ask someone to be supportive when the support kind of feels counterproductive to the way you just effed over our family.
It's difficult, but that's a part of duty. Yeah, okay, let's
Oh
say
yeah.
we lost the house and you with
Okay,
me.
absolutely.
You
I
with
think
me
it's
in, are
also
you
the
with me in the
reaction,
valley?
though.
Are you
I
with
was
me in the
gonna
valley? Are you with me in the valley and the peak, or just the peak? Sometimes
No,
it could be some shit that we in. We can
true.
much easier get out of it if we're working together, as opposed to you worried about, you know, how long we gonna be in it. Don't worry
Um,
about it. Follow the lead up out of there.
Fresh maker.
Right. So
I just have one small question, really.
Sure.